Hey, welcome to the Tim and Gugabe podcast. This is your host, Tim. Gugabe, we cannot see him today because he is currently in jail or in some trouble in Australia. How you doing, Gugabe?
Yeah, I'm fine. I'm currently on the run, actually, so obviously I can't have people triangulating my location. But yeah, good days. Being in jail is an Australian tradition, so living life well.
Currently on the run. I like that.
Yep.
We can briefly recap, just like real quick, the last event, and that was Nunez and yeah, like I don't know, we were kind of on the same page of just being like, what is Aldana gonna do other than gas out Nunez, which has only happened once? Like I just felt like there's so many win conditions for Nunez, and they kind of played out. And also, Aldana's just not very good, and I never really understood the love for her, you know. But of course, she was still a big favorite, so it's not like I told you so moment. But I still kind of just like was surprised it wasn't more like -500 or something, you know.
Yeah, I agree. I felt like Aldana could have done more to like activate the gas out. Like she felt like she just kind of let Nunes have her game for the first 15 minutes. Then like when Nunes had to actually work, you could see like there was kind of a window, but like yeah, Aldana was like gas out or bust, and yeah, it's like, and this is weird because obviously, she's very good if you let her pace herself. Unlike it's like, Beatty, you're going to have to go through 3 minutes, 3 minutes of absolute hell. But
Yeah,
if you go through that 3 minutes, it is quite winnable.
yeah. She definitely didn't. I do think Aldana is better than what she showed, but I still think like even if she fought her best, she still probably wouldn't win that often. You know, like everything would have to go
Oh,
right.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. And,
So
and
yeah.
like the grappling path was just like, the grappling path was such a massive safety net regardless. So it's just like, yeah.
Yeah. And then Oliveira and Dariush, I didn't play this honestly. If like it was closer to even, like when it opened out, I probably would have played Dariush. So I'm glad that he kind of blew out to -160 because it just made me pass, you know. And it was kind of weird because like Dariush kind of like was fine on top of Oliveira. I think the passing could have happened at some point, but also like Dariush just looked so panicked on the feet and just kind of got killed. And so it's one of those fights I wish I could see it play out like 100 times, but it wasn't a good look for Dariush either. But I could see another version playing out where like Dariush just doesn't get killed, you know? So what do you think overall?
I took Oliveira KO and Dario
Yeah.
sub because I figured that both were kind of wide compared to what they should be. Like, yeah,
Yeah.
I felt like Oliveira subbing Darius clean was going to be pretty, like, obviously Oliveira could sub anybody clean, but like I felt it should have been plus like 250 or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Like I felt like, Oliveira's path had to run through the feet in that one. And I felt like Darius submission round 2-3 was like plus 1,000. I'm like, if Oliveira gets stuck under him and starts gassing and like keeps doing stupid Oliveira shit, it's very live. Darius subs him.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Oliveira is not somebody who's going to just like lose with dignity. He's going to fucking start. He's going to spin around in his head going for random shit.
My buddy liked Oliveira a little more, you know, and I liked Dariush, but I was like, I don't know, the current line I would just pass. But I was like, I'd rather play like Oliveira KO or like KO decision. That I just like felt like him subbing Dariush would have been very hard, you know. So I think like to kind of funnel the win condition a little bit more, or just kind of like, you know, capture the upside of Oliveira. Like I just feel like Oliveira KO is always underpriced too. Like he hits fucking hard, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, the issue of him is club sub. Like, I was a little bit worried when he dropped him and he almost took the back, and I'm like, oh, fuck, please no, please no. Like, it looked like he was about to go through, and I thought it was quite live. He was about to get the backpack, and I was like, oh, that's not great.
A club and sub could have still happened, but I still feel like Dariush like is such a good grappler. Even if he's like concussed, I feel like there's a chance he could like recover from that, you know? And like I still think he could maybe like survive the sub, but yeah. But I don't know. It just is what it is. I just felt like KO for Charles, like it's always undervalued, you know?
100%.
Like especially as he's got like he's gonna easily sub the like mid tier a lot quicker and like a lot easier. These like upper tier grapplers, it's just gonna be way harder for him to sub, you know? And that's like why I liked Islam versus him, because it's like I thought his sub path was getting overblown, you know? But I always do think his KO path is getting like underblown. He hits fucking hard.
Yeah, I agree. The issue with just I just feel like Oliveira's club sub equity is such a big chunk, so it's just like,
Yeah.
even if you're correct, it's just like there's still like 20. Even if Oliveira hurts somebody badly, unless he just kills them clean, it's like there's always that 20-30% chance he just jumps on something, and you're just like, oh, for fuck's sake. Because like even coming up, like Tamer was a club sub, like Tamer should have been fucking stopped, and then that was a ridiculous club sub. I'm trying to think who else. Is he? I feel like he's had a few club subs on the way, but yeah, I agree. Just like split, the equity split's always a bit off.
Yeah. Especially as just like he's going against better fighters now who are harder to sub, right?
Sure.
But okay, we can get into the main card here, Vettori and Cannonier. I think it's a pretty close 5-round fight, like that will mostly play out on the feet. I don't like the way Vettori's looked in his last 2 fights. Like I thought he underperformed versus Whitaker, and I thought he underperformed versus Dolidze, and like Cannonier competed on volume with Sean Strickland. Like I probably lean Cannonier very slightly here, but I'm not rushing to play anything. I think that one of the best spots on the card is Cannonier decision at like plus 260 to 300. It's like Vettori's very tough, and Vettori's decision line's like plus 130. And I don't think Vettori's like that much better of a round winner than Cannonier. You know what I mean? Like I don't. I think just on the feet, they'll compete on volume, and Cannonier might land the harder shots a little bit. And that's kind of what was happening a lot with Vettori Dolidze. Like honestly, I thought Dolidze like won almost, but and Cannonier's better than Dolidze. So yeah, like slightly in Cannonier. I think that decision for like Vettori's so durable. I just feel like Cannonier just like I feel like his like inside the distance is kind of getting overblown. His decision is more his path to victory. But what do you think?
Yeah, I kind of agree. But I mean, Vettori, Cannonier Strickland was a little bit weird because I felt like Strickland felt like he could have like worked slightly harder and taken it clean. Like the entire time, I felt like Cannonier was like 100%, was working at like 100% capacity, and like Strickland was kind of doing the Strickland thing where he like leaves himself with a buffer. But yeah, well, Vettori's kind of weird because like the Leeds fight was really not a great look for him, and it's like if Vettori is starting to get scared with it, like Vettori's starting to actually contemplate his own mortality. It's like his entire style could just go out the window very quickly. Yeah, because like there's not like that much fundamental soundness to what he does. On that topic, I am a bit surprised. Like again, I don't want to. I think Vettori inside the distance, like they just opened here for like plus 700 kind of a situation. I'm like, at certain points, like this is gonna be a super busy fucking middleweight fight. Like, at certain point, you got, Vettori's not a hitter. It's like 12% for guys gonna land 150, 200 significant strikes over that amount of time. I think is a bit slim, but what are you gonna do? Otherwise, I'm honestly not particularly compelled by the event. Like that, if Vettori wasn't off the Dolidze fight, I'd probably be more interested. But between that and the Israel fight, the leg kicks, I'm just kind of like whatever. But also, Cannonier's like 39 years old, so you never know when you're gonna get the he could just fall off a cliff.
It seems like a pretty like it should be competitively lined. The only thing about Vettori inside the distance is he's landed 1 knockdown in 46 rounds, so it's kind of hard. He has 2 submissions over like lower level competition earlier in the UFC, but like I know what you mean. This is a 5-rounder, strikes can land, but I don't know. I just like feel like if this goes to a decision, it's probably very close. And Vettori plus 140 and Cannonier plus 260 to 300. It just seems off there. I think it's it should be lying closer. So that's like the prop I like the most. Like, do I think it's gonna like easily hit? No. Like, I think it will probably be. But I like the over. Like generally, I think this probably goes pretty far. Like both guys are tough. Vettori's very tough and isn't really a finisher. Like I kind of think it will. I think it will go to the cards. And so you're sitting on like a potential 3-to-1 payout. And Cannonier hits a little harder, like he just does. And their metrics are like pretty similar, and they both fought a lot of the same competition. So I just expect it to play out competitively and not much more than that.
I just think that like Vettori has most of if it goes 25 minutes, I feel like Cannonier kind of has a ceiling. Like I can see Vettori winning by a lot, but I can't see Cannonier winning by a lot, just off the pace dynamic and off the grappling dynamic. Like
yeah,
most
Vettori,
Cannonier dominant wins are going to be KOs.
Vettori could land takedowns and stuff. Like I could see that happening. So
And he's
maybe
just a little bit busier, a little bit better. Yeah, I'm not saying like Vittori's going to dominate. I'm saying I feel like if there is a dominant decision, I think it is probably a Vettori decision.
yeah,
Just off the dynamic.
Yeah, it's a close one. Like I know I hear you. I don't know. I just think it's a close fight. It's just not much more than that.
Yep.
Sarukian and Joaquin Silva. Like, I mean, Sarukian's a favorite here. It just kind of is what it is, right?
Yeah. But I got a decent price on like for some reason one book here was hanging like Sarukian's 2-3 for like plus 400, and I'm like, fuck it, why not? Like, you should fuck him up. Yeah. And Sarukian, like, why not? But like, yeah, again, I struggle to have opinions on the money line. Like, Sarukian should shit on him. Joachim's like, yeah, he goes hard and he's reasonably dangerous, so I wouldn't want to fade him, minus 2,000. But on the other hand, it's just like, well, how the fuck does Silva win this?
Yeah, it's like he's got to land a KO, and what is that? Probably like a 10% outcome, like some random finish or something.
Pretty much. But he's like dangerous enough that I don't want to totally take it off the table.
Yeah, fair enough. But like Sarukian should win this fight, fine.
Yeah.
Unless there's something just weird happens. Like, I mean, he's so much better at everything, and he's like that Demir fight was impressive. Like the way he just kind of out-grappled him, like relentlessly. I was impressed by that. But I'm not going to spend too much. Well, what's the ITD lines for Sarukian?
It's like massively juiced. Like, yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, that's why I took 2-3 because I think like ITD is like minus 150 and like 2-3 was like plus 400. And I'm like, why the fuck is round one that like favored?
I mean, at that point, I'd rather just play Sarukian decision at plus 315, because it's just like, I mean, I don't know, but he should probably get a finish. I don't know if it should be that big of a disparity. It's not like Sarukian was like not finishing a lot of guys,
Yeah, true. I don't know. See how it goes. I'm kind of whatever about it.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, and good fighters though, generally, who like stylistically were hard to finish, and he did finish a couple guys. So,
and also it's like Favola fucking took an absolute beating. Giagos was kind of whatever. Alvarez was weird because Sarukian seemed pretty happy to just chill and guard, then just like a massive cut opens.
Big cut,
Yeah, like there wasn't a particularly high percentage finish, in my opinion.
I'm just
like, I'm sure he beats Alvarez with a massive play.
Minus 270 inside the distance here, But yeah. Moving on to what is it? Petrosian and Duncan. I picked Petrosian here. The line's coming in a little bit. Like I still like that Duncan Dusko fight. I understood why a lot of people played Todorovic. I picked Duncan like straight, but I wouldn't have played him at that line. Like I thought it was dog or pass. The fight only played out for 2 minutes. We didn't get to see much, but I do think Duncan was like definitely getting the better of him and like probably would have won after seeing a couple minutes, but you don't always know. Like what if grappling came into play? But he was clearly better on the feet, but it was also quick. But it's just like Petrosian's got like this is probably going to play out on the feet. Like I don't really think either guy's going to go to grappling much, and Petrosian's a pretty good volume striker. Like if this plays out, I don't see like Duncan running away with it, So Petrosian might out-volume him. We've seen Petrosian hit and hurt, and whatnot. He has been knocked out before. So like Duncan just going out there and just like landing a haymaker is definitely a realistic outcome. But I just feel like the plus number on Petrosian, like he's probably, he's more proven at this point. We know he can fight with good cardio for 15 minutes and put up a lot of strikes. I think it's just I think it's a dog or pass personally. What do you think?
Yeah, exact same. It surprises me that Duncan is both the favorite and the under is the underdog. Like, yeah, you think that really those should be very, I just struggle to see Duncan winning a coherent 15-minute decision. Like, I'm pretty sure over 15 minutes, Petrosian like doubles him on output. Like, yeah, unless Wrestle Duncan is going to just be a thing, like, and like it's not impossible, but like he's never done it before.
I
But
see
like,
people making fun of like Petrosian's takedown defense, but his like get ups aren't
what
that
Bravo?
bad. It's like, and it was like Baralho, and he couldn't get up against him. But other than that, like he scrambles up decent. I generally think this is going to be a striking fight. Like I'm leaning towards that happening, and Duncan may turn out to be very good, and he might turn out to be the rightful favorite. I don't know. I'm just like I'm always skeptical until I see it, you know. So yeah, that's pretty much like where I'm kind of at. What's like Petrosian decision?
It's actually not that great. Like Petrosian KO is plus 500, which I think is a bit stupid. Like Petrosian KO plus 500, KO 2-3, like plus 1400. I'm like, well, there's a good chance he's going to land a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason, I don't get why the market's dismissing Petrosian inside the distance.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, Petrosian's a busy, hard-hitting kickboxer. Like, yeah, I mean, Duncan hasn't been knocked out, but like, it's not like it's impossible to knock him out. Like, yeah, nothing I've seen of Duncan has suggested to me that he's like Max Holloway or some shit.
Yeah.
Like, Duncan's archetype.
Like, what's going to happen when he starts getting hit, you know, and whatnot?
Yeah, like Duncan's archetype is just like, yeah, I'm just skeptical. It's like, he seems fine. I think the Todorovic thing, I honestly think that like somebody knew about knee injury because that line movement was weird. Like even like day of the fight, like it just like the last like 15 minutes, it just went down, and I'm like, okay. Like I struggled to see who was that confident in Duncan without knowing that because he went from like minus 150. There was a bit of buyback on Todorovic, and it was just like one-way traffic on Duncan. It's like I think there's a decent chance somebody knew something about that.
Yeah.
So I think, yeah, because it's just like I just feel like, you know, there's a good chance that, you know, it's gonna be a striking fight, and there's a good chance that Petro is just better at striking by a decent margin.
I mean, he's a technical kickboxer. He like could easily just turn out to be a lot better, you know. Like the Petrosian Dobson line wasn't that? What was that? Like I don't remember.
Petrosian was like minus something ridiculous, like minus 600 or some shit, I think. Yeah, he was a huge favorite.
Oh, was he really? For some reason,
From memory, I think he was. I'm pretty sure he was told minus.
For some reason, I don't think it was that wide. Let me look.
Oh,
he was minus 210. Yeah, I leaned like I like thought he was like there was value like kind of before that fight. I remember thinking that I was just a little worried he could get knocked out because Dobson is like athletic. But yeah, I don't know. I think we gave our thoughts. So they're going to Sabatini Almeida. I lean Sabatini here. I just like trust the process grappler more, but he's chinny, you know, and like Almeida running out there and like landing some stupid fucking flying knees in play. I feel like if you like Almeida, play him KO1 because I just feel like he kind of gets tired a bit. And if Sabatini gets through the first round, it's probably because he like successfully did really well grappling, you know, and then I think that will just really continue later and later. But I lean Sabatini here. I've seen a little bit of Almeida's defensive wrestling. It wasn't awful, but it wasn't like great either, you know? And I am a pretty big believer in Jamal Emmers would have fucking scorched
100%
had he not gone for that leg. I think people are starting to realize that now. Like Emmers, if he just wanted to sprawl and brawl, Sabatini wouldn't have taken him down, and Emmers would have fucking killed him. And like Sabatini's a liability on the feet, and I think it's pretty clear. He likes to limit engagements and get his grappling going. I'm guessing he's probably a good enough grappler to just let, and Almeida's not, where his game will just play out here. So, I lean Sabatini, but like I think like if you want to play Almeida, play him like some type of KO prop like early. You know, I don't think like if he starts to win the fight, I think he would just finish Sabatini. You know.
Yeah, I agree. Also, I kind of don't mind Sabatini sub because I think Almeida's the kind of guy who will just keep trying to explode up. He's not really a guy who's just going to sort of timidly sort of just go cling on and go the distance kind of thing. And like Sabatini's had deep subs on everybody pretty much, even though he hasn't finished them. Yeah. Like against against Laramie and against Laramie, who's the other one? Lutz and all that. He's had like very good spots. I'm like, I feel like there's a decent chance he'll have at least one very deep sub attempt. Yeah. No, it's just kind of like binary fight. You got to take the grapple in these kind of situations. Like Almeida could definitely kill him, but like, yeah, I think Sabatini's
like even with Sabatini's issues, he's still a good grappler. You know, like like he still is. I just don't. I just like Jamal Emmers is a great defensive wrestler, you know, and like all he had to do is not go for a leg lock in that fight, and he would have fucking crushed Sabatini. Like he's better everywhere, you know, everywhere except jumping for a leg lock. He's better. And then, but Almeida, I just am not going to trust some like early aggressive striker to just like have good defensive grappling until I see it, you know. And like I've generally seen spots that suggest that it's not great. It wasn't awful though, and like honestly, it wouldn't take much to KO Sabatini. Like Almeida is dangerous, but so yeah, like if Sabatini was less of like, you know, more minus 150, I would maybe take a shot on him, but minus 210 just kind of scares me because he is chinny and you don't want much room for error in those spots. But yeah. Mota and Manuel Torres, I don't know.
I've seen Sabatini's sub decision at like minus 140 here, and I'm like, yeah, I'll take some of that.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Manuel Torres and Mota, it's just like I just don't know like what Torres is. He just looks like he looked like he was a kind of like a bully early grappler on the regional scene and not a very like great one. And then like he beat the fuck out of Camacho. He like I liked the aggression he showed for the first few minutes, but like we haven't seen him in, you know, past round one. Like he's only gone past round one time, and what's he gonna look like? That scares me. I don't think Mota's great. Like I do think Torres will probably like land a lot early, you know, and kind of score offense early. So like I get like him winning is like, you know, like I'll probably pick him to straight win, but I just think he's a little too unproven in like this spot, you know, at minus 180. Like Mota's not great though, but Mota, like he fights a little low tempo, but we know he can fight kind of late and stuff. But he is a little bit low tempo. I don't like those type of fighters, but he's fucking dangerous too, you know. Like if Torres is just too aggressive, like a random knockout could come. But I don't have the strongest opinions here. I just don't know what Torres is. What do you think? I think.
Yeah, I kind of agree. Okay. Yeah, I kind of agree. It's like, yeah, I mean, like even against Camacho, though, Torres looked like he was about to get, he looked like he was getting very tired, and then he like landed one last flailing haymaker. Like obviously he was kicking Camacho's ass, but I just felt like there was a point in that fight where like about 10 seconds before the sort of knockout, he just seemed to slow down a lot. Then he just happened to get like the knockout of his last burst. So it's like, you know, could the guy who seems to only have like 3.5 minutes worth of tank really be this big a favorite in UFC? Like Mota's not great, but he's a decent strike. Yeah, I think Mota was a better technical striker and all that. Like, yeah, he could get lamped, but yeah, I think the Mota price is stupid. Like, why is Torres, when he goes off the rails, is going to go off the rails spectacularly and violently, and I'm pretty sure he's just not very good. While Mota, I feel like, is a little bit. Like Mota's ceiling is more defined, but I also think Mota's floor is a lot more defined.
Yeah, it's a speculative fight. You know, it's just kind of like we don't really know what Torres is. He might turn out to be like generally these like early aggressive finishers turn out to be frauds, but every now and then they don't. You know, so it's like that could happen. But you're playing odds here, you know, and he's minus 180. I don't want to take a shot on that at all.
Yeah, Mota or pass all day.
Is there anything on the prelims you like? I do, you know, I don't love like a ton on the like. I like Sabatini kind of, but I like Bondar a little bit. I got on him early. I just didn't understand why he was an underdog. Like it was kind of a flukish UFC debut. And because other than that, his tape looks really good. And so I kind of like him a little bit. What else? I kind of like
it's a solid card.
Hernandez as well. What about you?
It looks like a fun card. But it's not like most of the fights I mentioned from a betting point of view are on the main. Blader Fernandez. Fernandez seems like a decent striker, but Blader should just kind of should hopefully just kind of hit a takedown or two, I guess. But yeah.
I remember before that Silva Bleda fight, I was like really impressed by both girls, and I kind of thought they both looked good in the fight. It's just like Silva's very hard to grapple, and Bleda like almost subbed her. and was still landing takedowns tired in round 2. And like people like shit on her cardio, but I think that's more because of like the resistance that was getting put against her. If she lands takedowns here, like there's no get up game. Like she gets to rest in guard and do whatever she wants. And like Jasmine isn't a good finisher on top, and she almost finished the fight. And like Bleda, I think is actually she can finish on top. Like, I lean Bleda here. Like we both picked Jasmine in that fight, and Bleda outperformed Jasmine against Natalia Silva, and like I thought Bleda looked good like before that fight, and Silva too. I picked Silva to win, but I thought it was like a competitive fight, and I think like Silva's just turning out to be very good, and Bleda should be pretty good in that fight. So
you see, Silva's booked against Andrea Lee.
Yeah.
I think that should, again, my view is Silva's going to be something stupid, like minus 400 or something. Like, you got to take the Lee shot there, but I think it should be a good fight.
It'll be a good fight. I do like Silva is clearly good, you know?
I think she's good, but I think she's going to be prohibitive favorite against Andrea Lee, which is like, it's a big step up.
It's a big step up. I think she would probably win, but like, I agree. It's like, you actually have, like, Lee's an underrated striker, like an underrated volume striker. Like, she can go. And when she gets like a distance striking fight, she doesn't lose often. Or she's at least always competitive, right? So but no, like I'm excited to watch Blade. Like I think Blade is gonna run through her personally. Like I see the line coming in, and it's just like I also just like I don't think Blade is gonna just like automatically die on the feet here. Like people kind of think. It's like she got hit with a body kick, really tired from being in a grappling war, you know, like I don't, so that too, like I just tend to think Blade is probably just going to take her down and maul her. Like, I don't see like many props on that fight yet, but I wonder what like Blade sub will be, you know? But yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. But I don't know. That's all I got. Anything else you want to talk about? Or are you good?
No, not bad. Hopefully I can escape the police and be back in civilization for the next episode. But yeah, thanks for listening, and yeah, be good.
Yeah. All right. See you, buddy. Have a good one.
Catch ya.
Bye.
Bye.